Okay guys, here's a bird's eye view of your bobbin case and your hook area. I'm going to describe what's going on and what to look for if your machine is fraying the thread or leaving little ugly stitches on top. It's not tying the thread tight. If you're getting jaggedy stitches, this could be the culprit. So I'm going to grab a little pair of scissors just as a pointer, and then I'm going to point some stuff out. So this is your bobbin case on your 6 thread, your 10 thread, your commercial machine, almost any type of open arm embroidery machine. So I'm going to take this bobbin case out. Now when your machine is stopped and it's not sewing, about at the 7 o'clock position down here, you're going to see a little bitty point. See that little bitty point right there? Let's see if I can. Right here. So what we're looking at is the outside of this hook, and that's what we're going to be inspecting. This side here, as well with this other side around here. But what I want you to pay attention to right now is this little bitty point right here. This should be nice and sharp. You should run your finger across it on the top side. So I'm pushing my finger from the top to the bottom, and then I push my finger straight in to the right, and make sure there's not a burr or barb or a little booger or anything. It should be perfectly smooth right there. You want that tip to be perfectly smooth. And then what you're going to do is grab a little bit of emery board, your fingernail file, like this. It's just a regular emery board, nothing special. And what I like to do is get an old pair of scissors and I cut it at an angle. That way I can get inside there. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my finger. There's not a lot of room in there. The only really room you have is down here in this lower right. So what I like to do is, with the machine off, make sure you have your machine off, is I like to rub my finger up underneath this, on this outside of this hook, and feel for any boogers or barbs or hangnails. And what I want to do is I want to stand opposite of the screen side, reach around with my left hand and grab that big wheel in the back and put my finger here lightly and spin this hook. You can see this hook spinning around. This is the hook that catches the thread. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it in different positions, and I'm going to feel on the outside of this hook. So here's one you really want to watch out for. Right past this hook area, when you're standing opposite the screen side, and I'm turning that hand wheel away from me towards the screen, this hook is going to rotate around. This is your thread deflector right here. This hook has another piece of thin metal coming off of it, and it gets further and further and further away from the hook. And then it has another spreader right here. But what I want you to pay attention to is this other piece of thin metal here. So what I'll do is I'll put that thread deflector almost straight down at 6 o'clock. So I've spun that hand wheel, and this thread deflector here, we'll call it, this other upside down V, or whatever you want to call it, is here. And I want to feel with my finger on the outside of this edge here. Now this machine is sewing okay. It's not having any real issues, but I can feel that there is a little booger right here. I don't know if we can see it. I'll try to zoom in with the camera and see if we can see anything, but probably not. It's one of those things that the needle had pecked it, or it got caught, and you probably are not going to be able to see anything. Yep. You can you can see those scratches right there. Can you see? I'm trying to hold this video. I'll grab my pointer here, wherever it went. Grab this fingernail file. So if you see, it's got those two little pecks right there. Do you see that? So see those two little scratches? you can feel those very well with my finger. So what I'll do is I'll grab my emery board and I'll get it against that little thread deflector and I'll file it back and forth. It's hard to do one-handed when I'm looking in the camera. So I'll file it back and forth. I'm not pushing super duper hard, but this is hardened metal, so you're not gonna sand it away. You're just gonna knock those little barbs off. So I'll knock those guys off and I'll do it from this direction, and then I'll get it and I'll do it. I'll move this guy out of the way so you can see. With your machine off, you can move this. And I can hear it. Do you hear it? Running across that booger. And this machine was sewing okay, but it definitely has a booger on it. And now I keep running my fingernail file across, and you can almost hear the pitch change where it's smooth now. It's not getting caught up. And I'm going to change the angle of this, and you can hear it again getting caught up on that fingernail file. And I'm just going to keep doing it. Until that pitch changes. Do you hear that? You can hear it's not getting caught up anymore. Then I'll move down and do the same thing. So I'm trying to get those little scratches off. And you want to do it from all directions. From the bottom, from the different angles. It's hard to get to. You can move this hook where this part with the little scratches in it is straight up and down, and it may be easier to get to for you. So don't be afraid to move that hand wheel so you can move that hook around to change the position. And then after I've got it sanded and I think what is knocked down, I'll get some canned air and I'll blow my canned air in here. Yeah, that's totally different. And sometimes don't be afraid to get a dot of oil, put it on your finger, and run your finger across it. It's very smooth now. And I'll grab my hand wheel again behind the machine, and I'm going to turn it towards the screen, and I'm going to continue to feel all the way around this guy. Anywhere that it's spinning, that there's no little boogers or hangnails or anything like that. Make sure it's completely smooth. I'm going to put this down at 6 o'clock here, and I'm going to try to zoom in and see if we can see. Yep, so you can't really tell. This machine is not the cleanest. Sorry for the... You can barely see right here where that little booger was, but it's knocked down. You can't really see the scratches anymore. They're all gone. I would take my big canned air, my big compressor, and I'm going to blow this guy out and oil it because it does have some lint and trash and stuff back here in this area of the machine. So I'm going to clean all this out here. You can even get a Q-tip. You can see me moving it around just with my pair of scissors. So you can get a Q-tip and clean inside here. There will be trash and debris inside here. You need to clean all that stuff out. So this is hook cleaning 101. Let me tell you about some other things here. So with this hook at this position, do you see those two little notches here? Just so you know, it's got these two little notches. And what happens is when I turn that hand wheel, those notches are going to stay, but this outside hook is going to rotate where you can't see them anymore. They kind of disappear. Those are actually thread cleaners. There's 3 of them in your machine. There's one here, and then there's one here, and there's one up top there. Those are actually thread cleaners that clean the thread and the trash out of your machine. So if you can get this hook in a position and put your oiler right there inside one of those thread cleaners and then rotate your hand wheel, that is perfect. But really concentrate on the outside of this hook, and I can't be more clear when I say right past the hook, right past the pointy part here. You keep turning that hand wheel, and then it's going to come to this thread deflector. And this is what deflects the thread around the bobbin case. So clean that very well with a cloth, soft rag. If you feel any burrs or hangnails, then take your emery board and clean it up. And those hooks are expensive. If you had to replace this hook here, it'd probably, I think that hook by itself is $350. And then if you had to have a shop put it in there, they'll have to retime the machine and everything else. The next thing I'm going to tell you to do is grab your bobbin case, and what I want you to do is just feel all around this bobbin case and make sure there's no types of boogers or burrs or hangnails. That thread runs around this outside of this case here where these screws are. The thread is not going to really come past because it's inside this hook area. It really passes through the front of it here. So make sure there's nothing in the way, no little boogers or hangnails or any debris or glue or sticky paper or anything like that. So if you're having trouble with ugly stitches and you just can't get it to sew pretty, that's usually the cause.